So up on the whiteboard here at work, I've got the rubbish circuit diagram that I've drawn up for my chest freezer. All the live lines going to the thermostat, front light and lid light, and then the thermostat travelling the live line on to the motor to cool it down, or, drive the compressor and everything. The thermostat also has the built-in temperature sensor going up into the side of the fridge. Earth block, neutral block, live block, they're all sort of just as the power comes into the chest freezer, and then ground between the earth block and the motor, I think just because it's handy and saves on wiring. So what I'm going to be doing is replacing the thermostat, and I thought, well, let's show how that's all going to be wired. Essentially, we remove, get my finger in here, we remove the earth line, and this part here just becomes the STC 1000 without using the old temperature sensor. It'll use its I can't remember whether it's a K or whatever comes with the STC 1000. Here's how I'm going to wire it. I've removed the lights just to make it a bit clearer without spaghetti going everywhere. I'm going to have a plug, so that I can potentially use the chest freezer to ferment. Probably I won't, but thinking to the future, I should probably wire it in now while I'm mucking around with it all. The live block doesn't need to go to 5 and 7 from there. I can just wire it up from 1 to 5 and from 5 to 7 right at the STC 1000. It's a lot cheaper in terms of the amount of cable you're using, but neutral, earth, they're all the same. The only difference obviously being that plug is now needing to be wired up, but the motor's all the same, and it's just that this part here, the STC 1000, has replaced the thermostat. Should be easy. Let's go to the in-progress work. Alright, unplugged, very important. Or actually this one's the unplugged one. That one's also unplugged, but it's my soldering iron. So what have we got? We've taken off the thermostat, we've unclipped everything there. We've got a neutral wire and another neutral wire and a live, and they've all just been sort of cut so that these two are to the motor, this used to be to the motor, and in between is where everything's going to be happening. We've still got cables to the front light, cables to the lid light. They're all still hooked up to the live, neutral and earth blocks that come built into the Fisher and Paykel. And I had been planning to solder everything and all set up and ready to go. No, all got a bit hard as it does sometimes. So what I've gone to is some little terminal blocks. Much easier. A friend of mine and my dad had both recommended, hey, why don't you do it that way? So as soon as it started to get a bit challenging and I thought, I could just give it up for the weekend. No, whipped down to the hardware store, picked up some, and carrying on. I've got a thermometer here. It's going to sit next to the temperature sensor just so I can check and calibrate that if I need to. But otherwise, I've got my wire, I've got my possibly in the future heat plug, some shrink wrap if I need it, and otherwise some spade bits to connect back up to the Fisher and Paykel terminal blocks, and then I'll connect them to these terminal blocks and we'll carry on. Let's have a go. Okay, success. So what we've got here, we've got it all up and running, STC 1000. It's wanting to get up to 6 degrees, which is what I've set, 6 degrees Celsius. So the little heat light has come on. Testing the heat plug. It's just on a little baby nightlight sensor thing, so when I bring my finger over here, it lights up so I can see that it's getting power, which is good. However, I'm not going to heat the freezer at all. The sensor, as you can see, the lid light works. The sensor's down there duct taped to a thermometer, so I can check the calibration and whether I need to adjust that at all. I've got all the red wires going to the live block and then either wired into the motor or, where are we, down here to the heat cable plug, whatever we want to call it, and coming in from the main power plug. We've also got the black neutral ones going down to a neutral block, going to the main neutral from the power, and going to the motor, or coming down here. I used a little block just to do live and neutral on the heat plug. Again, I'm really not sure if I'm going to use it, but if I'm wiring it up, I may as well check, have it in place. So yeah, pretty pleased. Good afternoon.